Heyo everybody, Haku here with my predictions for the new The Walking Dead episode this weekend. That's going to be The Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 8. We're already at the mid-season finale. This half-season has gone by way too freaking fast. Yeah, I hate that we've gone through this so freaking fast. But this one's going to be entitled Heart Still Beating. Now for this, usually with my predictions, I try to hold off from things that could be potential comic spoilers, but for what I think is going to happen here, I don't think I can. I think I'm going to have to talk a bit about what happened in the comics here, so just a fair warning. I think that the show is going to do a lot of stuff very differently, but I am going to base some of my guesses on how they're going to do some of the stuff in the comics, but how they're going to do it differently and change it. This episode is a bit of one that I just felt like I couldn't explain it without any comic spoilers. But I do think it'll be changed a lot, so if you don't plan on reading the comics anyway, don't care about comic spoilers anyway, then it's not going to affect you whatsoever at all. That was a bit of a redundant statement. But basically, going through it, I'll do first the story that I think is going to go on outside of Alexandria, and then the story within Alexandria. So the story outside of Alexandria, I do think that the one who gave Daryl the key, who's going to let Daryl escape, is Dwight. I think it's Dwight because Negan has been pushing this dude, and I think he has pushed him too far, making him see him make out with his wife, making the remarks at him, making him see him burn Mark's face. It has just been, it's been going too far. And I think Dwight's finally going to say, okay, Negan's not here. This is my chance to let this dude roll. Now, we have seen in the original trailer way back at Comic-Con some scenes that we have not seen yet. We saw Dwight crashing his bike. We saw him pointing a gun at somebody with Laura with him. At least I think it was Laura. So, we still need to see all that. So something's going to happen where Dwight's going to have to chase somebody. He's going to crash his bike. He's going to be pointing guns at people. So I think that actually Dwight's going to chase after Jesus with Laura in order to make even more of a distraction for Daryl to escape. Daryl can escape, and the Saviors are going to be too busy trying to chase after Jesus that they're not even going to notice Daryl leaving. So I think that is going to be just part of Dwight's plan. Is Dwight in on it with Jesus? I don't have any idea, but I at least think that that is going to happen as a distraction. And I think maybe they could run into Michonne and the Savior that she has with her. Because if you guys don't know, within the week of when an episode's coming out, they usually release the credits for the episode, so you can kind of guess which characters are going to be in it. Laura is credited for the episode, that's why I threw her in there, and we still haven't seen that scene, so of course she's going to be in there. Also, Isabella is credited for the episode, and that's what they're crediting the Savior with Michonne as. So Michonne's going to be here. And I think that she's going to end up running into either Daryl escaping or Dwight and Laura chasing Jesus. Maybe Jesus meets up with her and that's actually who Dwight's pointing the gun at. Maybe he finds that other Savior with Michonne and they get into a little bit of a skirmish or firefight or something. That could possibly be it. So then I think Michonne, Daryl, and Jesus, there's a very good chance the three of them will meet up somewhere along the way and escape together. Or at least I think that he's got to find somebody when he escapes. I think he's either going to find Jesus maybe, or he's going to find Michonne. Those would be my first guesses. And then, of course, we do know that Maggie's going to be in the story, and Eduardo is credited as well. For those of you that don't know, Eduardo is one of the guys that stays up on the wall at the hilltop. And the reason we know Maggie is because in a promo image they put out a while back, Maggie is up on the wall of the hilltop looking out. So she's up on the wall, Eduardo's credited, he works the wall, so there's maybe going to be some sort of storyline with Maggie and Eduardo doing something, who knows. We haven't really seen much of it. It might just be one quick scene just to catch us up with what's going on at the hilltop, or it could always be more than that. But I have no idea at all. Then after that, we also see way back in the original trailer some scenes that we haven't seen with Ben on the road. He's in the car and the walker hits the window and stuff. So we're going to see some stuff with Ben on the road in that car that we haven't seen yet this season. And we do know from the promo as well that we're going to have Morgan and Richard, and they're meeting with somebody else. I cannot tell who the third person they're meeting with is. At first I was thinking it looked like Maggie, but now I think I was like, how are they going to get up with Maggie? That looks like her. Because you only see the very edge of their face, and I was like, well, it's not Daryl or Jesus, because you'd be able to see the hair. But now I'm thinking it might be Ben. I'm thinking that's a very simple answer since he is already at the kingdom with them. So that's probably the right answer. I was probably looking way too far into it. So those three are going to be meeting about something. Maybe once they meet, they go out and we see Richard going into this place hidden in the woods. So maybe that's where the three of them are trying to go out to. Maybe along the way they run into the Saviors or something, and that's who we see Dwight and Laura shooting at. Maybe they get into a gunfight. Yeah, because it looks like about the same area, I think, too. So where the walker jumps up at the car window at Ben. So maybe Ben, Morgan, and Richard run into some trouble with Dwight and Laura. Something like that, maybe. And maybe along the way they do find Daryl and or Jesus and or maybe even Michonne as well. But either way, in the comics, quick comic spoilery bits, I guess, but in the comics there's pretty much this group planning to take down and overthrow Negan, and the group is Jesus, Ezekiel, and Dwight, and then Rick gets in on it and they get their people together, and that's the basis for building up a resistance against Negan. But I think that the show is going to change that a lot, because what we've seen with Morgan and Richard talking, and Richard saying you can't trust the Saviors, we saw Richard in the earlier episode when Ezekiel was talking about being free or whatever, that they're only half free. So I do think that Richard may be taking the role as a member of this group that's going to try to overthrow Negan, and that he may bring Morgan into it with him. Now, who else will be in that group? Ben, or maybe Maggie, if that actually is her in that one scene meeting with them. And then maybe Michonne, Daryl, or Jesus. I have no idea. They're all out there. They are all characters that are going places that they've got to reach somewhere in this next episode. Whether they meet up, whether they get somewhere. There's a lot of things that we're going to see with those characters. Now, Richard arriving at that place in the woods somewhere, I don't see anybody else with them, so maybe they're meeting there in secret. I have no idea what that could be. And one other thing, with how I think it could end up at the end of the episode, I think that, say none of them even meet up, but Daryl finds Morgan and Richard towards the end or whatever, that would be less exciting, so I'm going to go with they are going to meet up with everybody and stuff. But I'm thinking, what if Morgan is like, well, we can't take you back home, Negan will find you. We can't take you to the hilltop or the kingdom, Negan might find you there. What if Morgan is like, I know a place you can go that's not in any of those places that Negan knows, and takes Daryl to Carol's house? If Morgan takes Daryl to Carol, that will be the best ending for this episode that I could imagine. That would be a very enjoyable ending. I would like that a lot. So I think that there's a very good possibility of it as well. Now, to talk about the stuff that's going to happen with and in Alexandria. So we see that Negan does like I had to do and has to shave this shit. So he finally does get around to shaving. We see him just hanging around Alexandria, and of course that's what I think he's going to do. We'll just hang around a little bit. And we see in the one promo, Tara takes the lemonade to Olivia. Olivia then presumably makes it, and they all sit down at the table for the one scene we see in that one promo. So they're all sitting around chilling, waiting for Rick to get back, but Rosita has already gotten back. Now Rosita wants to kill Negan, and I think she's going to very, 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 very strongly think about it. But I think that there's something she's going to see, something that's going to happen. Maybe somebody talks some sense into her, but I think Rosita's going to get her shit together and say, you know what, Eugene was probably right. I still am ready for this revenge. I still want to take down Negan, but I need to find the right time to do it. Because if I do it while he's surrounded by all these innocent people, who knows how many innocent people could get punished if I fail, how many people could get caught in the crossfire. I think that Rosita needs to get her shit together this episode, and I do think that she will. Now, I think that Spencer, again, getting into some stuff that he does in the comics, is going to suck up to Negan. He's going to really lay it on thick with Negan and try to get close to him and try to be like, yo, Rick can't lead this place, but I can. I know how to work together with you. My mom used to be the leader. How about you make me the leader? So I think he's going to suck up to Negan and try to get Negan to make him the new leader. But there are some options here. If the show goes the comic route, which I think it should. I think it would be amazing. I think it would be shocking for a lot of the TV show only watchers. The comic route, Spencer would get gutted and Spencer would die. We see the blood on Negan's chin in the exact same way that it was in the comics, so they're strongly hinting at that possibility. So I think that, in my opinion, that's 100% happening. Though they could fake us out and do something different, I think that's happening. Now, what I think is also possible, we could have a second death on top of that because so many people are expecting that. I think we'll get what we're expecting, but the show has been giving us what we expect from the comics and then throwing in a little bit something twisty, so they could do something like that again. And the new thing that they could add in for the show, Rosita, maybe she doesn't get her shit together, maybe she tries something, and Negan punishes someone because of it, or something goes wrong because of it. And I think if so, Rosita wouldn't be the one getting the punishment. Like, Rosita would have to learn the lesson. There would be no point in her trying to kill Negan and then Negan just killing her. The story would make a lot more sense and be a lot better and more developed if she had to learn something from her mistake. So say Eugene tried to warn her, say she tries to kill him, fails, he kills Eugene. Do I think that's going to happen? Hell no, we can't kill Eugene like this, in my opinion. But it's a possibility. Now, if Negan does kill somebody else other than Spencer, and he does it maybe because possibly Rosita tried to kill him, if he does, sadly my bets are on Gabriel. You guys know I am a big Gabriel fan. I really like him. But the reason I'm saying Gabriel is because right now Gabriel has been extremely loyal to Rick, even when some people have been questioning him. Gabriel said Rick brings people together. Rick can find a way out of this. And that's another thing. When he talked to Rick in the house, he was the only person. There were a couple other people that were like, well, why can't we find a way out of this or something? But he was the only one that said, we are. I'm confident. You know what to do. You bring people together. You are going to find a way out of this. So because of that, I think that if somebody other than Spencer's dying, my bets are on Gabriel, even though I really, really hope it's not Gabriel. And then, of course, while all this is going on, probably earlier in the episode, we will see Rick and Aaron get those supplies, and then they will return at the end. And when they return, Rick will find that Negan has killed one or two people, and Rick will be upset, obviously. Obviously upset, no matter who it is, honestly. I'm still thinking Gabriel would be more upsetting for him than Spencer, and he looks very upset in the promo. So possibly Gabriel dying here. But either way, it'll end, I think, the end of the episode. Even if we do get the Carol and Daryl reuniting, I think that'd be amazing. I don't exactly think that'd be the last scene in the episode. I think the last scene will be something like... Not sure how to put it together. Actually, I may have some different ideas here to throw out in a second. I think the ending scene would maybe be Negan leaving, and then Rick finally saying, okay, this is enough. We're going to find a way to fight back. And that would be our mid-season cliffhanger, that Rick has finally got his guts back. He is ready, no pun intended, he is ready to go and fight back. And then we will get to see the next half of the season how he's planning to do that. And I think that another idea I just had, what if Daryl escaping finds Morgan and Richard and goes with Morgan and Richard, and that would lead a lot better into them going back to perhaps that would lead better into them going back to the kingdom and going back to Carol's house. As for whether Dwight finds them or finds Michonne and Jesus, I have no idea, but I actually think that Jesus will be the one instead of Daryl to run into Michonne, because let's say Jesus runs into Michonne, they take out the saviors, maybe Dwight went after Daryl and the Kingdom group for whatever reason, and he's like, oh well, we lost him if he is the one that helped Daryl escape. But let's say that happens, then Michonne and Jesus just go back to Alexandria. Jesus talks her down. He's like, look, I know where Negan lives now, we can do something. So they go back. Both of them are ready to fight back against Negan already, obviously. They go back to Alexandria. Negan has killed somebody. Rick is back. Rick is really upset that Negan killed somebody, and Rick tells Michonne and Jesus, okay, you guys were right, I'm ready to fight back now too. And when he tells them that, Jesus can be like, okay, you've got to meet Ezekiel. That would be a very good ending. Now that I just thought about that now, not when I was taking notes earlier, I think that would be a very, very good ending with some nods to comic fans. if he said that to Michonne and Jesus. And then next season we could see Rick and his group with Alexandria wanting to fight back, meeting up with Ezekiel, and of course Morgan, Richard, and Daryl and Carol would be there now as well if it works out how I'm predicting. So I think that'd be a really good way to do things. I I like when I'm wrong so that I'm more surprised, but I kind of want to be right. I really think that'd be really fun to watch. So I hope that's how it goes, and I'm wondering what you guys think. So like if you did like this video, and comment down there and tell me what your predictions are. Of course, please no spoilers like usual. I mean, I feel like that kind of goes without saying. But yeah, I'm really interested. What are your predictions? What do you think of my predictions even? Subscribe if you want as well, if you're not already, for more Tower of God, both the TV show and the comics. And of course, we will be doing one Walking Dead video, at least one, every single week, even when the show is on break. Not sure what it'll be, maybe some top 10s, maybe some discussions, maybe some theories or predictions, just stuff like that. We will be doing a few videos though. And in addition to that, follow on Twitter if you want, and that is it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.